and welcome to Wildly Curious, where the questions are unhinged, the science is real, and honestly, we're just getting started. I'm Laura.
And I'm Katy. And...
Ever wonder why a bat might glow? Or how frogs made it to space long ago? Dinosaurs trained for delivery runs. We're asking the questions, the weird ones. Wildly curious, where science gets strange and kinda hilarious. For nature's wonders to ancient funk, it's facts and fun rolled into one big chunk. Wildly curious, weird is wonderful. Come join the fuss.
we're going to continue another mini episode for Swarms. And this week, I'm talking about one that, again, this fits the category of, I guess I never really thought of it being a swarm, but it is. And we're going to be talking about army ants.
Ooh, yes.
Yes. This was a
Actually saw them.
pretty cool one. Oh, have you? Oh, yeah, because you were down at Costa Rica and stuff.
Yeah. It was wild. Wild.
Yes. So when I say army ants, quote unquote, it's very similar to the locust. If you listen to 2 episodes ago when I talk about the locust is just a broad label for grasshoppers whenever they start to swarm. Army ants, we're not talking about one species. It's actually a whole group, more than 200 species spread across the Americas, Africa, and Asia. But today in particular, we're going to focus on the queen group of coordinated chaos. Is Cetion burchellii? I don't know, but it's the classic army ant of Central and South America. This is the one that has been studied, the one that is talked about. So if people are like, oh yeah, it's an army ant and it's in Central South America, this is this one. So these army ants are mostly blind. These ones are. Not all ants are. Most ants do have compound eyes, but these army ants are mostly blind, nomadic, and absolutely restless, but they're organized.
They got that kangaroo.
Right? No, yeah, right? Migratory restlessness. So they don't build nests in trees or dig tunnels underground. Instead, they create a temporary home called a bivouac. Bivouacs.
Oh, well, I know what a bivouac is, like a camping
Bivouac.
thing.
There we go. Wait.
But then bivouacus?
Bivouacus? I don't know. Anyway, these are temporary homes that are made entirely of themselves.
That's so freaking cool.
Right?
Just
Thousands of ants will lock their legs together. So again, opposite of the grasshopper locust that I talked about, where it's like, yeah, they like the touch for a little bit, and then they're like, get the heck
Touched
away
out.
from me. Yeah, and then they just... Ants, they lock their legs together to form literally a living, breathing fortress that protects the queen and the rest of the brood. So
Wild.
it's an organic home with mandibles.
Can you imagine like finding that and just like touching it and it just like
Right?
Yes.
So, and these ants don't just randomly swarm, because they do swarm, and I'll get to that in a second. They have a schedule, like they do it by a schedule. Because again, remember, ants are very strategic, very methodical,
like
very
efficient. Yeah, there's like no wasted.
No, none at all. So army ants cycle between 2 phases. I can't do a thumbs up. A stationary phase, where the colony just chills in one spot while the queen lays the eggs, pupae develop, all that stuff. Then the second phase is the nomadic phase, and that's where things start to get crazy. During the nomadic phase, the colony moves every single night and does raids. They literally call it raids daily, covering new ground constantly and never raiding the same area twice. So
Because they like eat everything there.
Everything. So a single colony of ants can contain hundreds of thousands of individuals. Estimates can range from 200,000 to 600,000 ants just on average. But it's not the size that makes them terrifying per se, it's the tactics that they use. Again, I said raids. It's coordinated ant raids, which that alone just sounds terrifying. But think of it as like they sweep across the forest floor like a predatory blanket. They move, they fan in and out. Anything in their path that can't move fast enough is gone. Insects, gone. Spiders, gone. Even small vertebrates like frogs, lizards, baby birds. If the timing's wrong, gone. So anything that's like gets caught, they're swarmed, dismembered,
like a zombie mob. Yeah.
Yeah,
Because
and they're
just like,
yep, it just takes them over. And so they're dismembered and then they're carried off piece by piece in a matter of minutes. So it's literally like
so cool.
right? So it's not just like a hunt, it's a straight up takeover of that area.
Yeah.
And they don't stop to eat. They're always on the clock, always moving, bringing back food to the group in waves, just constantly.
I will never forget when I saw it. Well, first we heard it. We were walking in the jungle.
You hear them.
And we heard them.
Yes.
And I was like,
which
what's
is
that
nuts.
noise? Yeah, because it's ants.
Yes.
Right? But all of a sudden,
I'm going to use that soundbite right there for I don't know what, but something. Because it's ants.
Well, because
you don't expect ants to make noise.
Like, here in foot, right? Like, what do you not expect to hear? Ants tiptoeing through the forest.
Yeah,
like
right.
it's they're tiny little ants, but it was like rustling.
Yes.
And yes, some was not the ants because antbirds. Like
I'm going to talk about that in a second, so don't give that away.
So that, but then they started to come over the path.
Yeah.
And the people in charge of the walk were like, hey, you got to move your boots. Do not let them in your boots because they'll just go in your boot and start biting you. So like we just had to move out of the way. And it wasn't that they were trying to like specifically target us.
Yeah.
I'm sure that they know that we're far too large. And
Yeah.
it's a waste of energy. But they went around and our leaders were like, boy, I sure hope they make it back to camp where we were because they were like, because after that, then we don't have to worry about the cockroaches and the scorpions and the spiders anymore.
Right?
Because they eat them all.
Yeah, they eat them all. Yeah. So how do they swarm? Army ants pull off a raid that looks more like a flood, like we just talked about, than like the 1x1 foraging trips that you're used to seeing ants. They move in a coordinated column, guided not by sight, but by smell. So just like we talked about with Laura's last one, it's all on pheromone trails. So basically chemical breadcrumbs that are laid down by each other, and that's what paints them like the picture of, hey, where we should go. When an ant finds food, just like what Laura talked about with the bees, it lays down extra pheromones on the return path, intensifying the trail so that they all know where to go. More ants followed, more pheromone builds, and suddenly the colony is a high-speed prey pipeline. Their raids spread out in a fan shape, like I said, like a ground-level search party just sweeping the forest floor. They surge through leaf litter, up trees, around roots, flushing out insects, spiders, and even small vertebrates.
I just can't imagine how scary it would be to be something that size.
Right? And
like,
seeing
or,
that.
I mean, you are much larger. Let's say you're something like as large as like
a mouse.
A giant, yeah.
Or a frog, yeah.
But you hear and you know what's going to happen to you if you don't run.
Right?
In theory, right?
Yes.
Like you're like,
you've seen your friends being torn apart and dismembered. Like
dismembered. But by the tiniest little mouth parts.
Right?
Like a horrific death.
So that is how they normally these army ants, this is the norm. All right. It's like the leaf they eat through, they lay down the pheromone trails, that's fine. If it's in its nomadic fade, it's just amplified. And so they never raid the same area twice. They will avoid places that have been raided by even other colonies of the same species. So they're very strategic, scent-based cartographers. They're basically making
you don't want to
a
waste
map.
your time going someplace where there's no food.
Exactly. And it's very coordinated because they run like 2-lane traffic system. Outbound ants yield to inbound ants carrying food, because when your literal whole colony is dependent on a tight schedule, like efficiency matters. If there's a hole or there's a dip, the individual ants, and this is also what they're very well known for, the individual ants will measure themselves, and if they fit, they'll just lie down across the gap like a living bridge and just let others go over.
So cool.
If it's too big, the other ant checks, and then they will go ahead and kind of link together just like they do in their little home to make their home, but they will plug holes to keep prey-laden supplies lines moving fast. So they do whatever they can to keep that food. If, let's say, like that column or whatever is going out, they find food, and then the ants like lay that pheromone track coming back, because again, they're mostly blind. So they lay that pheromone trail coming back, and then they find like a hole or a dip. They're like, oh my God, we got to get this food back. Like at all costs, we have to make sure that these other ants get back. So they do whatever they have to make sure they come back. So here's the other really cool thing about them, and I can kind of end with this. So army ants just aren't good at hunting. They're better than, for the most part, everything else in the forest. Because again, it's not a stalking, it's a swarming. So they flush out and they capture prey that most predators never even notice. So there's plenty of insects. There's plenty of prey there. Tiny insects that hide in the soil, under leaves, inside bark. They sweep. They don't stalk, they sweep. And while they're tearing through the undergrowth, the forest isn't just watching, like the forest itself's reacting. So other animals like beetles, birds, and lizards will actually follow the swarm, picking off prey that's fleeing the ants. There are even bird species like antbirds that have evolved to rely on army ant raids as their primary hunting strategy. No ants, no dinner. So the ants, they eat what they catch. The birds eat then what escapes the ants.
Yeah.
Which is just a full-blown like food chain on the move kind of thing.
Smart evolution. Almost scary if you only depend on that, but...
Yeah, right? So anyway, yeah, so that's army ants. And again, it's like I knew about them. I knew about the cool thing, like the building the bridges and kind of stuff like that, but I had no idea. And I only touched on a bit of what I actually went through and researched it, but how organized, how precise.
So cool.
But then like how just unstoppable, and very much so like the grasshoppers. For the most part, it doesn't stop until something, you know, again, it's like the locust. Some outside force has to really stop them to be able to stop them. It's not they just get tired and they're like, okay,
like
guys, that's good.
Fire or something.
Yeah, no, it has to be an outside force stopping them. So anyway, so that's army ants, guys.
So cool.
Yeah.
I didn't know everything about them either.
Yeah. All right, guys. So next week we'll have another full-length episode, and then the week after that we will have our last minisode on swarms. So make sure you guys go check us out and support us on Patreon if you can. Follow us on all of our social media channels. Just search the Wildly Curious Podcast. And until next week.
Later.
The questions, the weird ones.